You are watching a Fact TV presentation of the town of Swanzey.
I will call to order the regular meeting of the Swanzey Planning Board for July 9, 2026. And I'm Victoria Rec Ames, I'm the chair. Scott Sell.
Here.
Mark Sclera.
Here.
Richard Lane.
Here.
Brandon Self is not here yet.
He will not be. Will not be here.
Will not be here?
Nope.
Michael York.
Yep.
Selectmen's Rep. Alan Gross.
Hello.
Alternate Stacy Goodale.
Here.
Charlie Harbeck.
Here.
And Jane Johnson will also not be here. So I'm going to seat Charlie for Brandon. Okay. Our agenda for tonight is approval of minutes of June 25th, 2026. Then we have two public hearings. The first is 26009, which is a continued site plan review, continued from June 25th. Terry Lewis has submitted a site plan review application for the property located at 69 James Road to use an existing 1,600 square foot detached accessory dwelling unit as an event space and to hold activities such as healing circles, yoga, meditation, retreats, and herbal classes. The property is at tax map 209, lot 11 in the business district. And second public hearing is 26010, site plan review for Baylev Holdings LLC, represented by Brice Rayner, has submitted a site plan review application for the property located at 126 Monadnock Highway. The applicant proposes to expand outside storage by excavating the bank on the eastern side of the building, installing a small retaining wall, and paving the area. Additionally, the applicant proposes utilizing the excavated fill to level the northwestern and southwestern sides of the building to create more flat storage space. The property is at tax map 103, lot 84 in the business district. And then under discussions and other business, we have Shane Lampinen to discuss Aerocrest Drive extension and a memo from Southwest Regional Planning Commission pertaining to home-based childcare zoning. Next, we have the minutes of June 25th. And have to review, are there corrections, additions, or deletions to the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Is there a
I'll second it.
I have one question about the minutes, and it may not be important, but it's just because I view these as a historical document. On page 3, under item B, excavation permit discussion, we talk in the first paragraph of that about almost to the bottom, we say, the result is that the site does not meet the requirements for grandfathered status, so the town, and my question is the use of the word town, is proposing a 12-month compliance timeline. And then later we talk about how the town cannot grant a lifetime waiver. Again, for historical purposes, I think in terms of planning board or staff, because I don't know what the town is. You know what I mean? So I guess my request would be that either we say staff or planning board in those instances.
Should be planning board, because the staff doesn't do what the planning board does. So it has to be either town or planning board.
Okay. But we never did propose a 12-month compliance guideline. We never actually. We could say staff proposed, and then the planning board cannot grant. That's right. Okay.
So change it to town staff is proposed.
That would be great, yeah. Just in that first, that's the only place I found in, so there's two changes in that first paragraph. The first one, it's town staff, and then the planning board cannot grant a lifetime waiver. It's kind of like passive tense, right? Own it.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second as amended.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any objections? Any opposed?
I abstain because I wasn't here.
Alan abstains. So the motion carries. All in favor? All in
Would you
favor?
like a
Motion
regional
is-
impact motion?
Okay,
Can we do that?
yes. And now, the regional impact, does anything on the agenda qualify as a development of regional impact requiring notification of neighboring municipalities?
Make a motion, there's not.
I'll second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, now we're going to continue the public hearing that we started on June 25th. So, Ms. Lewis, if you'd like to come forward. This is, Terry Lewis has submitted a site plan review application for the property located at 69 James Road to use an existing 1,600 square foot detached accessory dwelling unit as an event space and to hold activities such as healing circles, yoga, meditation retreats, and herbal classes. The property is at tax map 209 lot 11 in the business district. And where we left off with this was we wanted to have the Conservation Commission review the application. We wanted to designate a handicapped parking space, and delineate the proximity to the stream. Are there other things, Adam, beyond that, that we were lacking?
I think the board addressed the rest of the comments. I'm just going to roll through the comments that we had at the last meeting and then state whether or not they were addressed. So, planning board was happy about the layout of the site plan.
The Conservation Commission? Oh, we were.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And boundary lines, the planning board determined that the way the plan was presented was okay. The parking areas were still being discussed. Water and sewage was determined to be okay. The handicap access still needs to be discussed. And then the print of the final plans still needs to be discussed. The proximity to the stream, I do have some comments from the Conservation Commission. Terry, if I miss anything, please let me know, because you were at the meeting, correct? Perfect. So Sherry shared with me her comments. I'm just going to read it word for word. If there are any questions, please jump in. The Concom does not have any concerns about the James Road project. However, we had questions for staff, for me, about whether the proximity to the brook should trigger a conditional use permit. While there's no construction, with her request for a home-based business, this is a site plan, not a home-based business, that was just a miswording. It represents an expansion or change of an existing non-conforming use, which is citing wetlands conditional, the WCD ordinance F.7. Sherry is in the Conservation Commission is stating the non-conforming use being the structure which is 40 feet from the stream and its use. It's a little unclear, does she have a permit to do weddings there? Those were her thoughts. That was word for word what she sent me. I had a response that I just sent back today. We don't necessarily feel like there's an expansion of a non-conforming use, at least in the terms of the ordinance. Typically, at least in this case, I think expansion would refer to maybe like adding on to the building because the property has been used to hold these types of events in the past. I feel like you're not necessarily expanding what's already there. So I think in the spirit of the ordinance, it's not necessarily an expansion, but that is, of course, to be discussed tonight. It's also not a home-based business because the space is too large. A home-based business is capped at 500 square feet. The space is over 700 square feet inside. I'm not sure why they were discussing permits for weddings, so maybe you could expand.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I was there and I'm not sure neither.
Okay, got it. So I don't think the ordinance is clear enough to determine that this is an expansion of a non-conforming use. I don't know if this green running through a property would be considered a wetlands conservation district. It's not listed on any of our overlays. You really need to get a surveyor out there to
Yeah.
wetlands is out there, so it's hard to.
Yeah, I don't know if the Conservation Commission did a site visit. I did go out and look at it, and my impression, and I have no idea if this is true or not, that to get to the back portion of the property, which is fields, right, to use the property as a farm, I suspect that many years ago, somebody installed a very large culvert to create a road, basically, okay? A drive-over culvert. It's like a 3-foot culvert, okay? And if it had been me back in that day, I might have done a little bit of channelizing or something. I mean, it's a really deep bed, okay? It's deep enough to accommodate a 3-foot culvert plus, okay, plus road on top of that. So it's not like, and the stream is really channelized, is how I felt looking at it.
Yeah.
And I suspect, 100 years ago, it was damped to get over there to those backfields, and that's what they did to be able to get, farming equipment back in there. So it's really contained. Okay.
It's definitely not clear cut, like
Yeah.
some of the wetlands in town. It's very much a unique scenario. So those are the Conservation Commission comments. Those are the outstanding items. When the board, if the board does the deliberation tonight, I can reread these items so you guys can have conditions. That's all I have.
And I would just add that, we did talk about the 40 feet from the corner of the property to the stream. About 30 feet of that is lawn that's mowed, and then the rest of it is just not weed.
Our favorite.
Yeah, so, she's not disturbing, changing anything that's there already. And that was really the primary purpose, I think, in our conversation.
Further thoughts on proximity to wetlands, thoughts, concerns?
I'm just curious, I don't remember. Is that parallel to Route 12? Or does that come off of Mount Huggins
The
towards
stream, the stream
yeah,
itself,
the stream.
it comes from the top of the mountain.
Okay, and that comes east to west. Is there a cul-de-sac or something that went under the rail trail also, or is it turned before it gets to there?
So at the end of James Road, are you asking?
Yeah.
There's no cul-de-sac at the end of, my end of James Road. It basically dumps into my driveway.
And the stream actually, according to this plan, actually goes into a pond. It's collected in a pond way down below, and then there's an outlet.
Okay, that's the same outlet that would be running down by the dental office, and et cetera, in Russ Way, or not?
I don't think it goes that far. I actually think that by the time it gets to the rail trail, at the end of the summer, it's dried up. That pond has been there as long as I can remember, which has been 60 so years. And it has a culvert on the other side of it where it goes down to the rail trail. But like I said, at the other end of the rail trail, when you first come on to Mount Huggins Drive, at the end of the summer, that dries up.
So it's basically a winter runoff.
Yeah, but the stream does run most of the year. I don't think I've ever seen the stream completely dry.
No, I think everything's been satisfied. Conservation Commission had no real concerns. They spoke about the 40 feet, but again, nothing's changing, nothing's moving. It's been there for a long time and hasn't really encroached or hurt that any. So I'm fine with that too. The parking, I guess, has been addressed. That was one of our concerns, parking and one parking space, right, for the handicap space. It's supposed to be shown. Is that there?
Yep. Right here.
Yep, so that was the other concern there, so I think it looks fine.
I'd agree.
So, any conditions that we should consider at this point?
I can't think of any.
Any comments from the public? Further discussion among the planning board members?
You're going to close the public hearing?
I think I do want to
Just
close the
just
public
before you do
hearing.
that, Adam, would you just read you're going to read some bullet points there, weren't you, just before we deliberate, because we're going to close the public hearing?
Yep. So before deliberation, I guess I just want the board to consider some of these notes that we had. That was addressed. We were concerned about the maneuverability of cars on the lot. And we were also concerned about the type of paper that the plans are printed on. It really needs to be just normal paper. Tracing paper doesn't keep very well in file cabinets, unfortunately. I think the rest of the items are okay. You know, we really wanted to show the handicap spot, but really the maneuverability of cars on the lot was a big concern. And then for, I think it was health, you saw Stefan yesterday at the Concom meeting, correct?
I'm sorry?
Did you see Stefan yesterday at the Concom meeting? No? He had a question about permits required for when you held events. There's a chance that the fire department and the health officer, well, I guess the town at large, would require you to file an event permit anytime you would hold large events. So I would keep that in mind.
So we did talk about that when I first came in the office, because I said that we have an annual Halloween party that is more than 15 people. And you said that I should get a one-time event permit for that.
Okay, yep, as long as you're aware, I just didn't want you to do without me.
Is there a number that I should be aware of, like if it's over so many people?
I think it's just over that 15
Okay.
number. And I think that ties in with your septic design. So just keep it.
Sure.
But yeah, the interior maneuverability of vehicles and lawn is a bit concerning, so the zone should have problems with that. So whatever the work is.
Okay, so we might consider, let's see, there would be a precedent condition or a substitute?
What would a condition be that you're
Just
considering?
to show, to have the final plan be on conventional paper.
I have a piece of, I have a copy on
done
regular
that.
paper.
You have one?
if you want
Okay.
it.
We would need at least 3.
Okay, I already gave you one,
Okay, so I have 1, 2.
and I have another one. And
Okay,
I can
good.
go get more copies.
Okay.
Did we just change that in our site?
I thought it was 2.
I thought we dropped it down to 2.
Oh, here's the second one then.
You're saved.
You might want a copy.
I can get a copy, I have a tracing paper copy.
They do fine in her cabinet.
I drew all those by hand. That's why they're on tracing paper.
So, and just to be aware about permits for larger events, but that's not a condition, that's just something
Yes.
to be aware of. Heads up.
So just for clarity, is that when the event is part of a business? I mean, or,
We require everybody to get an event permit when it's a large event. So like the Cheshire Fairgrounds needs event permits to run events. Anyone in town needs an event permit.
Well, when Mark throws a really big party, he should get an event permit?
Not the guy. Not the guy that asked.
I need to know.
I think Eric, and so Eric has the fire department and then the police chief. They typically have
There's actually some guidelines in the, online at the, for large parties. I have checked that out.
Remind me not to hold big events.
The magic number is 15, above 15, you need a permit, is that right, Ann?
I think that was the quote from Stefan, but come talk to us. Yeah, we'll work with you.
I mean, I have an aunt and uncle with 12 children. I mean,
Yeah, you're going to be a lot different than Cheshire Fairgrounds.
All right, well, it sounds like we don't have any conditions that need to be put on this permit.
I don't think so.
So then I'm going to close the public hearing. Everybody's good with that? 6:19? And then we can deliberate. And our question is whether the site plan is consistent with the purpose and intent of applicable regulations.
I would say it is.
I would agree.
She met all of the questions that we had. Looks fine. You know, it's
Motion by
a nice
Scott.
small business. I'll make a motion, yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the site plan.
I heard, he muttered.
You can give it to Mike.
All right, you can have it. Second by Michael. Further discussion?
Discussion, comment, sounds like a great use. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Good luck. Thank you very much.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next item is site plan review for Baylev Holdings LLC, represented by Brice Rayner, who has submitted a site plan review application for the property located at 126 Monadnock Highway. The applicant proposes to expand outside storage by excavating the bank on the eastern side of the building, installing a small retaining wall, and paving the area. Additionally, the applicant proposes utilizing the excavated fill to level the northwestern and southwestern sides of the building to create more flat storage space. The property is at tax map 103, lot 84, in the business district. Would you like to come forward? Must be Mr. Rayner.
Yes.
Welcome. All right. So our process is to first determine that we have all of the necessary information on the site plan, so that if it's a complete site plan, then we move forward to a public hearing. So we need to scrutinize and make sure that we have everything that our regulations require us to show. Adam, do you want to start us off here? Is that a good time?
All right, so, as Victoria mentioned, this is Easy Crete requesting a site plan application. Property is approximately 4.1 acres, has 50 feet of frontage on Route 12. It's on the east side of Route 12. Has an existing curb cut. It's in the business district. It is also in the wetlands conservation district. It is on town water, and there's septic on site. Subject property accommodates roughly 12,000 square foot structure, houses Easy Crete, along with outside storage of materials to the north, east, and south of the building. The applicant is requesting waivers for section 3 and 16. Moving on to comments here. The project has 2 proposed site plans, which I know it's kind of odd. One of the site plans conforms with the Wetlands Conservation District, the other does not. Measurements for both plans are shown in the packet. Conditional use permit will be required for the non-compliant plan under section 7F3. Impervious surfaces, activities which will result in soil compaction, and parking, diesel, and heavy equipment. Couple issues for the site plan review regulations that we noticed. Like I just mentioned, there are 2 site plans that have been submitted. We would prefer if one of those was chosen after deliberation tonight, just so we can advise on next steps. When going through the site plan review regulations, there's a couple things we want to mention. We would like some sort of visual and written explanation of how section 8, article 1 is being accomplished. So A states site preparation is to be conducted with minimal disturbance to existing vegetation. Strip topsoil is compiled and used on the site where needed. A minimum of 4 inches of topsoil is placed in a certain area. Site plan shall be adequately landscaped in accordance with the landscape plan provided by the planning board. So I think staff is really wanting a landscape plan
to be submitted with the site plans, just because we feel like this is the type of development that would really benefit from the landscape plan. And then for B, grading and filling must be conducted so that there is no net increase in surface and subsurface drainage toward or across abutting properties, unless an easement is obtained from the abutting landowner and recorded with Cheshire County Registry of Deeds. We would just like some sort of visual and written explanation of how that's being accomplished. On the parking, you have a delineated area for parking. We really just want to see how many cars can fit in that area, because right now it's kind of a rectangle. So we want to see how many cars can fit in that area. It looks like enough space, just some measurements, and approximately how many vehicles can fit there. And then the spaces on the site plan should be shown with lines and measurements. If the area is gravel, just do your best to show approximate numbers. And then also in the site plan, please indicate what material is going to be used for parking. If there's any lighting that's going into the outdoor storage areas, it needs to be listed on the plan. If not, no worries. And then again, we, at least staff, would really like a landscaping plan, especially with the nature of the project. Those are all of the comments that we had. The Conservation Commission reviewed this at the same meeting, and I believe you were present, right? Sherry shared some comments. If there's anything I missed, though, just jump in, okay? Let's see. Let me pull that up. So, Sherry stated that he agreed to options. Yes, there should be a conditional use permit if Plan A is chosen to go forward. They discussed with Brice on the 50-foot buffer versus 75-foot setback options. If he stays 75-foot back, it does not trigger a conditional use permit. Sherry trusts that the planning board will make sure that there's proper drainage on the site to keep runoff from cascading downhill, and that the appropriate precautions during construction are taken to keep soil out of the site. Those are comments. That is all that I have.
Thank you.
If anybody would like a quick reference, those comments are on page 27 of the packet, and I can also reread Sherry's comments with you guys.
Okay.
Excuse me, Adam, which, Conservation Commission, which one of the A or B were they most, like, more or less against versus?
I think they just commented on both of them. So on Plan B, if they stay within that distance away from those wetlands, then they wouldn't get a conditional use permit. But if Plan A is chosen to go forward, then they would need a conditional use permit. And so I think we really just need to decide which plan to go forward, just so we can tell you the next steps.
And you're the decider.
Right.
You are the decider.
So, we just get a little philosophical here. We're gonna keep growing probably, so I'm trying to maximize the amount of outside space that we have, so I only have to do this one time. And so my thought when submitting both plans was to see if B or A was untenable, that I would have a backup plan in A. With that, I guess I'd like to understand what's involved with going forward with Plan A to try to maximize that space. I think I understand I need a conditional use permit, but outside of that, what other things would be involved in that? I'm sorry to show up naive, but I haven't been through this process and don't really know what would be necessarily involved in that one.
That's fine.
Yeah. Well,
There's criteria.
yeah. So, this is something that's fairly new in our zoning
Sure.
ordinance. And you would, in this instance, let's see, this, do you want to handle it? Okay.
So conditional use, we think about timeline here really quick. If you were to decide today that you wanted to go forward with Plan A and you process. You would submit a site plan that meets the conditional use checklist, which I gave you. I hope you looked at it, at least briefly. It's kind of dense, I know. So we're just going to go through it. If you have any questions, I'll try to. This is a commercial application. You have a site plan application, so the fee is going to be $75. We just need a project name, tax map, and line. Boom, we're already built that. You need to adhere to Article F of the zoning ordinance, which I will help print you copies of. Question.
No, I don't know what Article F is.
I'll print you a copy. Yeah, I'll have it ready for you at the home, okay?
Okay.
So on the first page, you're going to check the option for impervious surfaces.
Okay.
That's the one that really goes with this project most, because you're creating more of it, just for storage. Page 2, very easy, just information. Property owner, applicant, authorized agent, if there are any. So quickly go past page 2. Page 3, you're going to be mostly familiar with, because it mirrors a lot of the site plan review reg checklist that you went through for this application. Name and address of owner, you got that already. Tax map, or thereof. Name and address, plat preparer, city sketch. I'm going to go through the ones you maybe haven't seen.
Sure, yeah.
Physical features and basically the land within 200 feet of the site. There's a chance with this type of application, you might want to get a survey. It's going to be more accurate. We'll go through this. I don't believe one is needed. It just says we need to provide a detailed plan showing the proposed encroachment into the wetland conservation district and any information necessary to demonstrate that the proposed encroachment will not cause adverse impacts. So if you can show that without a survey plan, so be it. I think we always want to see one when possible, but you don't need perimeter boundaries. You already have that. Already have that. Have that. Identification of access. We already have that. Parking. Have that. A lot of this is very similar to the site plan. Natural features such as water bodies, ledge outcroppings, wetlands, etc. That's a new item for the conditional use permit. So you need to find a way to show that on your plan. Existing and proposed grades. I know it says at 5-foot intervals. Request a waiver like we did with this application. Should be okay. Means of providing water supply. We have that. Septic design. Have that. We have most of this already. So I don't think the checklist is going to be very severe.
Okay.
For you having already done the work for a second.
Sure.
I will say the requirement of needing to show that you will not be adversely impacting the wetlands. You will need to visually show that and maybe give some background on how you're not going to adversely affect the wetlands. It will take some work on your part, but I think if you've already gone this far, it shouldn't be too much of a lift, I hope.
Okay.
I'm not going to read page 4 in its entirety for you only. But please read, and if you want to set a meeting with me and maybe the Conservation Commission, we can sit down and try to work through this.
Adam, does page 4 address the permit criteria that the planning board is going to use? Because we have a whole bunch of things that we need to consider
Okay.
when we evaluate what you've presented.
I can briefly go through it.
Might be good to just hit some of the top lines.
Yep, so conditional use permit is granted, usually listed in section F, which I'll review. You need to show that the land is reasonably suited to the use, activity, or alteration. There's no reasonable alternative location which would avoid encroachment into the jurisdictional area. Encroachment into the jurisdictional area has been minimized to the maximum extent possible, including reasonable modification of the scale or design of the proposed use. The proposal is the alternative with the least adverse impact to areas under the jurisdiction of the section. Nature, design, siting, scale of the proposed use, and characteristics of the site, including but not limited to topography, soils, vegetation, and habitat, are such that when taken as a whole, will avoid the potential for adverse impact to the wetland resource. if you provide a landscape plan, you get a survey, a lot of this stuff will be taken care of. Will not have any adverse impact on abutting property owners. The wetland conservation district and any designated buffer is maintained in the natural state to the maximum extent possible. Where there's been a disturbance or alteration during construction, revegetation with native species may be required by the planning board. So in determining whether or not a conditional use will be granted, the planning board will consider the following to determine whether allowing the proposed encroachment will result in an adverse impact. So they will take into account the size, character, quality of the jurisdictional area being encroached upon, the location and connectivity of said area in relation to other wetlands in the surrounding watershed, nature of the ecological and hydrological functions served by said area, the nature of the topography, slopes, soils, vegetation that encompasses said area, the role of the area in mitigating soil erosion, sediment, and nutrient transport, groundwater recharge, flood storage, flow dispersion. Last one, I promise, the extent to which said area serves as wildlife habitat or travel corridor. It's heavy lifts, so we're not going to pretend that it's going to, be minimal effort.
Sure.
It's going to take a lot of work. If you're fulfilling the criteria in this application, you're going to be in good shape, but it will take some work to get there.
Yep.
So, I'll pretty off what you need. I emailed you the application.
Yeah.
So read through it, try to understand it the best you can. You need to set the meeting with everybody, just let us know. We'll try to accommodate the best we can.
Sure.
You would submit this, it would go before the Conservation Commission and then the Planning Board. Remind me how that order works. It's Concom, they would comment on it, and then it would be sent to you guys, right? Yep.
I would think so. But bear in mind, the Conservation Commission meets once a month, so in terms of timing, that's twice a month.
Sure.
I think they would need to approve it. I don't think anywhere says they need to approve it, but maybe
They need to comment on it, and then the planning board either approves or does not approve it.
You're
So
talking about the
all the
conditional use
information-
permit?
Talking about the permit there, when the Conservation Commission comments on it.
Okay.
And then the planning board's jurisdiction to look it all over and take all the comments
Okay.
under advisement and then make a decision. So
Okay.
there, as you know, there's a lot to it. As you saw, there's a lot to it there.
Yeah.
You may or may not get that conditional permit. How important is it for that extra square footage over on that side? It's a pretty steep area there. You're going to have a pretty big retaining wall there, aren't you? 8 to 10 feet by the looks of it? On this side here where that wetland is, right there?
I mean, so now, when we bought the building, and I'm assuming when it was built, it was just sloped off, there's no retaining wall, so we were going to...
No, I mean, when you fill that in, that's what I'm talking about. I'm looking at the contour lines. When you fill that straight across there, it looks like you might have 8 or 10 foot of retaining wall at the end of that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It looks like they had filled it when they built the property and used no retaining wall, and it's held up, and so we were just going to sort of mirror the landscape without a retaining wall.
Oh, it's not going to be flat? It's not going to be flat across?
It will be flat across, just like, so the parking lot is flat across and it was filled in. Where it slopes off, where they had filled, they didn't use a retaining wall.
You
Yeah,
mentioned
I
in your
get that.
application that you intend to build a small retaining wall. We're just not sure.
Oh,
where
yeah,
that
sure,
wall's
sorry,
gonna
yep,
be.
that's on
It's
the,
this section we're talking about,
yeah,
correct?
no, on the darker section on the other
So,
side of the building.
on this side here, we're talking about, again?
Correct, yeah, there's no retaining wall there now.
Okay, so are those lines of contour accurate? Or, now, if those are accurate, then I'm just judging, if those lines of contour are accurate, if they're like that now, then it looks like that retaining wall is going to be a pretty big one right there. I'm just asking you, how important is it for you to do all that, or go through the process and may not get that conditional use permit, possibly because of that?
Sure.
It's a drop off there.
Yeah, and I think what I'm suggesting is that they did fill into that steep spot without a retaining wall when they built the building.
So these lines of contour may not be accurate. That's on the plan. I'm just asking you that.
They should be pretty accurate.
They should be.
Yeah. It's coming from the town of GIS.
Oh, it is? Oh, I didn't know that.
There's no reason to think it's not.
If they went to Plan B, they wouldn't need to put a retaining wall in there.
No, because it's more on the flat. It might be a couple of feet by the looks of the contour, not even that, it'd be flat. So Again, if that's very important to you, then yeah, go ahead for the conditional use permit, but it might be very difficult to get.
Yeah, so if the conditional permit, let's just say, does not get approved, then I would have to reapply for option B.
You probably would, yeah, you could, the planning board could approve this plan with the condition that you get a conditional use permit for that section there. And I would say anyway, the board may disagree that if that didn't go through, we would have to revert back to what you show on item B.
Okay.
But the board would have to weigh in on that one.
Okay, so for tonight, potentially, we could approve all of the things that don't encroach on the wetlands? Is that what I'm hearing?
We have to approve something concrete. We have to,
We can approve it with a condition that they get a conditional use permit for that section. That's the only section we're talking about for the conditional use. And if it doesn't get that, it would have to revert to that Plan B, which they presented to us.
which means you could start.
Sure.
Well, that there. Or we could approve it with Plan B, and if he wanted to expand in the future, get a conditional use permit just to expand over there. That could be done too. That could be done too,
That's
at a
interesting.
later date.
That's very interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I know you said you didn't want to come back, but I think it might be inevitable
Right.
for a future meeting.
Sure.
But it depends how fast you think you might expand over there. If you want to get going and stuff, it might be easier for you to go with Plan B, get going on there, if it gets approved, obviously, and see what you need afterwards, see how important that little spot is for you over there.
Yeah. So I guess for our purposes, it would be nice to understand if we could proceed with the things that don't encroach tonight. And if they don't, and if that's okay to approve those things with a condition that, you know, we get a conditional permit for the areas that encroach on the wetlands, then I would be interested in that.
Later on, something like that. All right, so it looks like we do have enough information then. We know what he's looking for. We know what we're going to be looking at. So,
The area to the east side of the building.
but just a sec. Oh,
I'm sorry.
We're going just for this. Going just for this.
I'm sorry.
I think so.
We're just taking process.
We're
Okay, so
just
we're
going
gonna do the
completeness.
checklist.
Just
for
completeness. Then we'll get into that.
I
We
just
got into
wasn't
a
sure
bunch.
if we were ready to even look at completeness, but I think now we can. So your thought?
All right. My question was, on the east side of the building, that darkened area, that's going to be excavated?
Yes.
Okay, and you're putting a retaining wall in there.
Yeah, that would be where the retaining wall would be, to hold that bank.
Okay, that's a fairly steep, that's fairly steep also. So
Yeah.
rather large.
Yeah, but
wall.
he's showing it on there, and as far as completeness goes, he's showing it. So we have that there. We can go for completeness, and if we decide it's complete, then we go public hearing and decide the particulars.
So let's choose Plan A or Plan B, okay? Because otherwise, that
Well,
line gets muddled. Can we do that?
I think the applicant chose the Plan B, correct?
Yes, so with the condition that if I'm
Yes.
gonna affect the area that encroaches in the wetland, that I'll need a condition.
We have to come back.
Yes.
And you could be doing that concurrently with, you know, as you're
Correct.
doing this, yeah. Okay. So let's go through our checklist. All right, we've got the name and address of the owner, the tax map, and lot number. Maybe. Not so much.
I think it's in the building, maybe.
I guess my question, when I was looking through this before, I was wondering how many of these elements need to be shown on this drawing itself, okay? All of them, okay, okay.
I do, I think the owner recommendation is on bill.
It's just the map and lot number. I see the lot number, but I don't know what the map is. I mean, I know what the map is, but I don't see it anywhere here.
If you look at the outline of the building on the plan,
Yep. Oh, okay. 103. Here we go. It's there.
it is like a long string.
Yeah.
Yes.
Got it. Okay. This north arrow, is that accurate, or is that just like a dingbat that shows up on your plans? Is this truly north?
Yeah, that
Okay,
came off
okay.
the GIS.
It looks kind of decorative. Nice. And we, it's a word. It's a real word.
My wife calls me that sometimes.
It has multiple purposes. Okay, you have asked for a, not a, is this officially a waiver? Yes, you're asking for a waiver because your scale is at 1 inch to 70 feet instead of the conventional 1 inch to 30 feet. So we'll have to circle back around and get approval on that. You're the plat preparer. Okay, so we don't really have a vicinity sketch on this map, but we have a vicinity sketch elsewhere in the application.
Sorry, I think I should clarify. The checklist is need to be, the checklist items need to be provided in the application.
Okay, all
Sorry.
right, then we got
Yeah,
it.
it doesn't state, I guess some items might state.
Okay, all right.
And we do have another one of these on file, correct? The one that originally was approved
With the building.
on file with the building.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, and it should be included in your packet too.
Yep,
On
because-
page 44. The original, so the most recently approved site plan. is
Yep.
on page 44.
Okay, let's have a peek at that. Because this is a modification to our site plan, to the site plan.
Yeah.
Oh, there we are, right
it
there,
just
yeah.
triggers, it's big enough to trigger.
Yep,
Okay,
there we are.
all right.
The checklist says 75 feet, not 70.
I know. But the map itself says 70.
Right.
So,
Either way, that's one we,
it's a waiver.
we give a waiver to that all the time because
Yeah.
nobody really does to the 30 feet. So,
Okay, we have names and addresses of all abutting landowners, physical features and uses of land within 200 feet of the site. How is that indicated? That was a question to me. Is that these buildings here?
yep, that
I think that,
and the uses of the site are actually
but
not
the
many
site
uses.
is, I guess I was wondering if the
Well,
aerial.
it's
photo-
200 feet that we're talking about, right? So, there's 210 right there. So,
Got it.
oops. Yeah. Not quite, no, 200 feet would be up here. But again, with that aerial view,
We've
there's
got
nothing
it.
up there.
Okay. Let's see. Perimeter boundary lines and the lot area in square feet and acres, and
It is 4.15 acres. I don't know what that means there. I don't see the square feet there, but again, we can give a waiver on the square feet. It's a lot of record. We've got them in there. Let's just put by there.
the next size, shape, height, location of existing structures, that's not relevant to this change. Roads, number 10, location, names, and width of any proposed roads, none. Access to the site, that is known. Okay, now we're down to location and number of parking and loading spaces, and we've asked for greater specificity on that.
First, we want to know how many spaces are required, because this is an existing site plan, was passed with what it needed, at that
Yes.
time it passed for parking, so, and he's not doing anything to add more employees that I know of, are you? Yep, probably not, so parking,
Yeah, we should verify the parking line. The numbers are, they're most likely completely.
no, I mean in the original one, the one that's in your office. Does that one have them designated on there or not? Let's see.
It does, yeah.
It does,
Six
yeah.
spaces on
They're there.
Yep.
So what were you saying?
I was just commenting that if he's going to show an expansion, that area that you're expanding to, it should have a number at least of how many cars you can fit.
Even though we're not
But
putting,
why would that be? Because we aren't requiring, he's required a certain amount of parking spaces for that business.
And you guys can make that requirement, but just trying to adhere to the regs.
Yeah. I think we should, because the parking relates to the building, and you're just trying to have more storage, which doesn't require more parking, right?
The parking relates to the amount of people that are going to be in any particular building, and it's required so many spaces per whatever it is on our regs, not the amount of land they have they could fit parking spaces in. It's just what they're required for.
I don't think that's relevant for this request.
Yeah, so you guys can waive that requirement.
Okay.
The regs do want you to delineate and measure
But they're shown,
And they're shown right
they're
there.
shown on the prior.
Yeah, they're right
site
there.
plan.
Yeah,
These are
it
the
is.
two sites that
It is
we're
a lot.
right now.
Oh, he should be showing them on, he should have that level of detail. I got it, okay, I got it. Is that easy enough to do?
Well, I do show,
To revise this plan to show the parking spaces that are located around the building?
If we've got one on file, why do we need that?
I
You
don't know.
We've got one on file. This is a modification, even though it triggered a site plan, we've got a modification
Not
there.
modification, it's a new site plan. So this new site plan is going to take precedent over the old site plan. The old site plan is essentially going to be more after this.
No.
No, I don't think so.
You're approving new site conditions.
Well, I think we're improving a modification. I mean, this looks like a modification to me. That's what we're approving.
Yeah, because he's making space to do something he was
Exactly,
already
yeah.
doing.
And he's got an
But he wants to
approved.
do more of it. So
Well,
that feels like a
You
modification.
should read the modification requirements.
Okay. Can you get to it
Because
easier than
that's
us?
a completely different process.
The parking that's on this
Yep.
does not match with what he's proposing to do in the new changes. You follow what I mean?
Why not? That's existing, right?
He's showing a different area of parking in gray here. It's this,
You have
Oh, I see.
two
here's a
different-
new
Yeah,
thing.
you have two different
See
ones.
it, more
You have
parking
one
there.
There, and then one across the front of the building where he's filling in, or at least that's what I'm interpreting.
Oh, I see why. Because, yes. So some of that parking is going to be
Yes, but
removed. I got it.
that's not what is on the original
I got
that we
it.
have in our packet.
So you're actually going to be moving some of the existing parking to
Showing
a
it.
different location.
it's those two places that they'll be parking.
And you're showing it on there, I see, yeah, right there and there.
Yep.
Okay.
But tell me, does this work here, will these parking spaces that are under the grid, will they be restored when you're done moving the dirt around?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not being eliminated?
No.
Okay. Does that, we on the same page? These,
No,
these will be disrupted during the excavation and regrading.
correct, but if you look at the design of the building, where you had like the golf part of the versus that,
Oh, I see what
it
you're
does
saying.
not match up.
That these spaces that are shown here actually are shown as being in a driveway on the old.
No. The spaces on the old one are on the north and the south side of the building, I believe. And this is showing them on the west side.
So,
Maybe just,
There's
modification, because this is way above the scale of modification. And this is why I present this to the board, or even suggested to Mr. Rayner. If I would have known that he could come to the modification, he would have paid $423 for a site plan review. So modification, minor in nature, conforms to all requirements of the site plan review regulations. Conforms to all conditions of the originally approved site plan. Would not alter the general layout and use of the approved site plan. Examples of the site plan modification include minor changes in location of utilities, minor adjustments to place of the structures, minor changes to landscaping plans to include changes in layout, species of plants, etc. Replacement of a structure that is the same footprint. I don't think anything about that. The excavation is minor. That's very
No, I would agree.
so maybe just clarity on the parking. Specificity, whatever word you
Okay,
use.
so if this is not a minor change, then you're saying, Adam, that everything should be shown, it should be a whole new site plan that shows everything all on one page.
Everything, so any new site plan should show everything.
Everything,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree, it's, first of all, they don't really, what you're showing here doesn't match.
I'm not sure what you're...
I'm looking at the most recent site plan, which is just this little,
So this this would have been the previous
The
one.
building, just the building, and the driveway in, and it looks like you've maybe modified your driveway into your circulation pattern from what you're, we just don't know what you're showing here as well.
I was really showing where I'm excavating
Yes.
and where I'm filling,
Yeah,
and then where the parking spaces are going to be.
yeah. And that's logical and sensible, but because we don't know where the parking is a deal, right? So we don't know where these spaces are relative to what we're doing here. So we would just be asking you to delineate those spaces, okay? Take the parking information that's here and put it on this map.
Or vice versa, or take this information and put it on that map.
Okay.
So it
This is nice
coincides,
'cause you've got the contours, you know, this is,
Yeah.
this is sketchy. It's got something.
just so it coincides.
So existing parking,
Yeah.
okay.
So that was 12.
That's 12. And then the next item is a landscape plan. And again, I'm not familiar with this property. And we all have busy lives, but sometimes we do site visits. So I just can't visualize what would be needed, you know. And the issue is that there is a neighbor. There's a residential use that abuts your use. And one of our objectives is to protect, you know, those two uses from each other.
Sure.
So, I hate to
It's
say-
very difficult to see the building from the highway. It's pretty well hidden back there.
You can see with the aerial photograph in there, wherever it is there.
I'm just going to say, does anybody want to do a site visit? Or maybe it's just me. I'm happy to just do it.
Kind of.
Kind of.
I've looked at the satellite image, it's kind of confusing. I'm not familiar with the area, but.
Let's just consensus, okay, well, I'm not going to lock us in, but I would be interested. Charlie? No. Stacy?
We're looking for a site plan.
Just wondering if you would have any interest in a site visit.
Oh, a site visit? I'm familiar with the area, so I wouldn't need.
You are familiar with the area?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So am I, I'm familiar with it.
Okay.
So am I.
I'd consider it.
So maybe a couple of us, that if it was just three, I'm just wondering, would that be an official site visit? Because it would only be three of us? Are we a quorum at that point?
Good.
Well, we don't have to have a quorum, but we could have fewer, and then we don't have to take minutes or anything.
Could you just ask for permission to go onto the
Yes,
site?
That's always a good thing to do. All right, yeah, I have permission to just go onto your site.
Sure.
Okay. And maybe and then we can just show up at random times and just scope it out. Okay. Much easier. All right, and so let's defer discussion of a landscape plan until I feel like I know what I'm looking at.
Sure.
Okay. All right, location, type, and nature of all existing and proposed lighting. That's another thing that I don't know, do you need to illuminate for larger storage areas?
Oh, no.
People don't steal concrete stuff.
No, they don't. They're welcome to try.
The building, though, it has some lighting on it, and that's something that's nice to show on one consistent site plan. Lighting. Natural features such as water bodies, ledge, outcropping, wetlands. You're showing the wetlands, I'm assuming. If there's anything.
There's no ledge outcroppings or anything like that. They're right there.
Existing and proposed grades and topographic contours, you have shown them at 2 feet intervals instead of 5 feet. The location of existing and proposed water mains, culverts, fire hydrants, and water ponds. So you've got a septic system here somewhere, and that probably should be shown on one site plan.
Okay.
And ideally would be dug up while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Excuse me, you're not tied into the septic system for the town of Swanzey, North Swanzey?
No, it's a private system and public water.
And you probably should show where the water line is.
You're gonna go
Right.
move the whole septic system?
If you know it.
If you know it.
This all stuff has to be transferred.
Okay.
Surface drainage patterns,
Drainage there. This is the new, this current drainage right there, and proposed drainage right there.
proposed drainage. Okay, so you're showing that. Soil survey data, I think he's got that on a separate piece. Is that, didn't you tell us what the soil survey?
Yeah, I believe the soil
It's
survey is
on
in the packet there.
Right after this plan.
Oh, it's the aerial, it's the soil classification map, so you're showing us that. That's page 42 of the packet. Location of any existing or proposed easements, deed restrictions, and/or covenants, and you say, are there any?
Oh, it looks, no.
None, okay. And architectural plans are not relevant. So, we have a waiver requested for item 3, which is the scale, and for the contours being shown at 2-foot intervals instead of 5. And I guess I would entertain a motion that those waivers could be granted unless there are additional waivers that we should consider.
I'll make that motion that we grant the waivers because it is consistent with our site plan regs.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Discussion,
Aye.
wait.
I just wanted to ask one question. It's not part of this, I realize, but on your eastern boundary is the Cheshire Rail Trail. Will any of your plan work have any impact on that at all?
Will any of the plan work have impact? No, it's still on my property, or still on our property, so there'll be no impact.
Thank you.
Okay. Motion to grant the 2 requested waivers. It's been made and seconded. And is there any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. All right, so we're going to be looking at, we still need to look at completeness. Our question is, does the site plan contain information that's sufficiently complete for us to proceed to public hearing?
It probably does, but we're asking him to show more things on the site plan. We're asking him really pretty much to show what's on here and on there in the same plan. I think we should give him the opportunity to either postpone this to our next meeting so we don't start the clock, because if we accept the application, we start the time clock. And if we run into something else, the clock runs out. There's a certain, 60 days? Yeah. So 65 days, right? Yeah. Yeah, 65 days. So when we accept the application, then we've got 65 days to come to an agreement, or not an agreement, to come to a proposal as to whether it passes or not. So it's up to you whether you want to postpone again before that clock starts, or continue now. If we accept it now, it's 65 days from when you accept the application that we have to make a decision. If we have nothing, if we can't, which I don't see we couldn't, but we can't decide on the application, we have to decide one way or another after 65 days, unless we all agree, you and I, or you and the board agrees that we can extend that. So, just so that you know
The
that.
downside would be if we got bogged down because we felt like we didn't have enough information, we might have to deny it because we don't have enough. That's basically.
That's
the
basically what I'm
downside,
saying,
right?
yeah, that we have to deny because we didn't have
So
enough
if
time
I'm
to hear
hearing
it.
that right, when you go, when you close the public hearing, you'll deliberate, and you'll say, yes, it's complete, or no, it's not complete.
No, that's not the public hearing is different from this. This is not a public hearing, we're just accepting the application or not as complete. If we accept it as complete, then we go to public hearing, open that up. But the accepting the application starts that time clock where the state gives us 65 days to look at it.
Okay.
But-
And,
So if we don't accept it right now as complete, then you have more time to.
Yeah, if you think you need more time.
If you think you need it.
and what we're talking about is just maybe putting on the parking and the septic system and the water line?
Yes, giving us more, putting more information, the elements that Adam was talking, which Adam would help you.
Just combining the two.
There is always the option to just add conditions on the approvals. So if the board there is enough information to go on, you can add as many conditions as you want to the approvals. And those conditions can either bring back to the board for review or be on this.
So the only thing that's hanging me up is I would like to see what the property looks like.
Sure.
Okay? I can take the word of people who have seen it, but I don't feel like that's responsible, but.
Also, we weren't sure about the landscaping plan,
That's
and
right.
I think that's part of the seeing the property. I think in fairness to Brice, three of us, we should really try to coordinate being there together, as opposed to going separately and taking your time 3 times, in fairness to him. So I think you work, so you're the wild card, because I think we're pretty easy here.
We're flexi.
So any random time probably I can make it work.
I am,
After work hour? Well, you want to work too, so.
someday.
Do you want,
After work?
could you slide by on your way home from work, maybe?
Yeah, I can do that.
So when would that be?
So I'm heading on vacation next week for 2 weeks. So I've got tomorrow.
10 o'clock tomorrow?
When?
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock? I can do lunchtime or after work, one or the other, so 10 or 5, noon or 5 or something.
Lunchtime would be great.
Lunchtime?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I couldn't, I have, let's see, 11:30. Could lunchtime be 1 o'clock, 12:30?
12:30.
Okay.
Can make that.
Okay, I think I can do it, 12:30?
12:30 tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay. But what's that going to do for us? Do you feel that we can't accept this as complete without going to see whether we need a landscape plan or not? That's the question.
You still can.
Yeah.
We've done it all the time, during public hearings, say, well, we need more information, so we need a site walk. So, yeah, we can go on a public hearing if we want to.
Sound good? All right. So, we've granted the waivers, we think it's complete enough.
Yeah, I think we have enough information to go to public hearing. We know what he's doing here. There are a few things he's going to have to change with the site plan that we actually get, which he's going to do that. So
It's sufficient and complete.
I would make a motion that to accept the application as complete with enough information to go forward to a public hearing.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the site plan is complete. All right, then I'm going to open the public hearing at 7:09. And sometimes, let's see. Adam has already commented on this. Would you like to present your grand scheme?
I sure can.
Go for it.
So we're looking to create more flat space outside for storage of sellable product. And in doing so, we'll dig into the bank on one side of the property and use that fill to fill in both spots on the opposite side of the property to create that space. Sure. Sure. I don't really know what else to say about,
You're going to be constructing a retaining wall
okay, yep.
on the eastern side? And
Yes.
How high is that wall going to be?
I suspect it'll be a tiered retaining wall, maybe 4 feet up,
Step back.
in 5 feet, up 4 feet.
So a total of 8 feet? Okay. 8 feet retaining wall along the long area that you're going to be cutting into
Yes.
the material. And that is the only retaining wall that you're anticipating constructing?
Yes.
Another question that occurs to me is, how much like commercial traffic do you have in there? Do you have shoppers coming in to look at the different products and choosing that kind of footing or whatever?
No, we don't have walk-in, I think you'd call them walk-in customers that come in.
So the products that you're storing here, you would be loading them onto your vehicles and
Yeah, they'd be going onto flatbed trucks, third-party flatbed trucks generally, or LTL trucks.
With that retaining wall, where will you put your drainage and exit from the end of your, either end of that retaining wall? Because with that slope, there's got to be some runoff.
Yeah, so the excavator would, we're working with Evan Pratt on that one. He would design the drainage for that. Honestly, I'm not sure how they do it with the retaining walls anymore, whether they put it behind or in front.
That will need to be put on the flat.
If it's going to be buried, you're talking about a pipe in there, are you?
It's got to be, yeah, there's got to be something behind that to catch.
Because there's sheet drainage now off of there, I'm guessing. So if it's going to be a tiered wall, he may not put drainage back there. Yeah, if you're going to put drainage back there, it'd be nice to know if you have a pipe and where that pipe comes out, is what Richard is saying.
Yeah.
And it looks like it would come out on this side of it because you've got new drainage on that side. And I don't think that's a pipe, is it?
No,
No,
that's swale.
sheet drainage, I think, down the natural contours.
When you say sheet drainage, I'm not familiar.
Just drainage like across the land without.
Yeah, there's
Without being contained in a pipe.
No.
There's no catch basins or anything there.
No.
Right, just sheet drainage. So what he's talking about is, yeah, if you have a pipe back there, just show that it comes out right there, if that's what your guy's going to do.
I can ask him. I'm not sure that it needs a pipe. That's not something that he mentioned when we discussed the project.
the issue is that any drainage has to remain on your lot.
Sure.
You can't be putting it into the wetland.
Okay, yeah,
Other
of
properties.
course.
Will be using your own materials for the wall?
Yes.
That was a curiosity question.
Yeah.
This way.
That's right.
But it does look like your proposed drainage goes on the abutting property, though.
Yeah, I believe, so there was an existing swale that goes down.
This one here.
That's the
highlighted one.
current one. There's an existing one that follows a path that it likely was moved at some point.
It's a natural formation of the land you're talking about, down these
Correct.
contours. Down these contours here, by
yes.
the looks of it.
Yeah,
On that side of it
Where I
there.
put the hose, there's an existing swale of some kind there.
Because you aren't supposed to let any sheeting water or any drainage occur on another person's property from your
Okay.
site plan is the thing. And I see you have it going right down that very edge right there right now.
Yes.
But again, naturally by itself, by the looks, there are no pipes or anything, there are no
No.
catch basins there. So the intent for your contractor would be to keep it on that side of the property, on your side of the property if you can.
Okay,
There's no additional drainage. I'm sure there's drainage right now, judging by the contour lines, that's going on that piece of property, just because it looks to me like it's like that
it
right
does,
there.
yeah.
But you should have no additional going on there, we'll put it that way.
Okay.
Additional drainage from your property. So no pipes going over there from a retaining wall, something like that.
Okay,
And your parking is going to basically stay the same, but you're going to change, you're going to combine these two as we're talking about. This one shows your leach field and all that stuff, it shows parking on there, but if you're just going to change it, then just change where the parking is. Because it looks like that's going to be all storage, that new part
Yes.
you're digging out there, which is good storage there, and I guess these places up here that are the hash marked ones are going to be
Storage.
turnaround or storage area there
Yeah.
too, right? Yep, so you still have enough room to maneuver trucks and things back there.
Yep.
You kind of have to. But, you know, those are the only changes there, you have the fill in with those there. And I guess there's no retaining wall shown over here either, right? At the end where that's going to be filled in slightly.
Yeah,
You're going
no
to fill in
retaining
some
walls.
from there to there, because it drops off a little bit. By the looks, it drops off a
It
little
does,
bit
yeah.
there and there. So it'll just be filled in and just slope down naturally by the
Yes.
looks of it. So yeah, just keep in mind that that drainage, even though it's going to be sloping off at the side of that triangle right there, just keep in mind that the drainage shouldn't sheet onto the next piece of property. There can be a swale right there where that property line is to keep it on your property.
Okay,
That's what, in the site plan regulations, that's what you need to do.
okay.
When you say a swale, do you mean
I mean, yeah,
to divert it in this direction? I mean, what's going to stop it?
It would have to be a dip at the end of these areas here that's filled in. It'd have to be a dip down in there.
But what prevents the water that's contained in that dip from exiting and moving further?
That is where it's exiting now, actually, and it looks like it still goes in his property right to the wetland right down
It
there.
does, yeah.
That's where his property ends up there and down.
So your concern is just not allowing it to escape?
You don't want it to go on somebody
the
else's
other
property.
structures,
In
yeah.
our regulations, you can't do
Got it.
that. And it's heading straight down there to that wetland anyway, so that's where you just want to make sure your guy does it, the swales.
These new areas, do we know what the material will be? It would just be gravel, will it be paved, or will it be hard packed?
So we're going to use the fill from the site, and then we have proposed that we pave that area.
Okay.
With asphalt?
Mhm. Asphalt, yeah.
So the runoff is going to be a little bit of work, I think.
Well, when you come to the site, you'll see, I mean, it's already paved. We can take a look at it,
Yeah.
talk through some of those things for sure.
That's why I think a walkthrough is important.
So there aren't any catch basins or anything already on the site?
Correct.
All that.
Correct, yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get your question. On the proposed areas you're filling and you're storing, going to be storage, did you say you're going to be putting a hard top on that?
So in one of the areas here, if I can point. This over here.
The trapezoid or the?
Yeah. This over here is unpaved and this thing unpaved. This is already paved here, so we're just going to extend it.
Okay.
So if you can delineate that on your site plan, okay? So you know, that's important.
Okay.
It's going to be impervious surface. I'm concerned a little bit about runoff towards the wetland.
That's the wetlands anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if it's sloping this way, if this is going to be impervious,
Right.
we have heavy rains, which seems to be happening more. Should we have some sort of a catch basin?
The water's still going to go there, though. I mean, if you put a catch basin in there, that's where you're going to put it. You're going to put that catch basin either here or on the other side of that road to drain into
water's
that
still gonna go in there
wetland.
to the
Because
wetland.
it's going into that wetland anyways. But you want to make sure, you know, that if there's no catch basin that we were talking about before, that it hugs that line right down there. Because right now it's going that way. You can see the contour there, going right across into that wetland there. But what you're saying is that there's going to be more runoff in there, which maybe not, I don't know. You can see, your concern is that it'll wash away. There's a road right there.
Yeah, it's a driveway that goes up into there.
Your concern is that it'll wash away that driveway maybe?
No,
Because there's
no, I'm not concerned about it being washed away. I'm concerned about what's going to be on that hot top and run
Contamination?
contamination into the wetland. And whether or not we should have some sort of basin to catch it and let it seep in slowly through like natural filtration.
Like the drainage swale, right? I mean, that would have to be maintained, that swale, as a grassy.
Will you be cutting any of that tree line in order to do this?
There is vegetation in both the excavation and fill site.
So you're going to be you will be removing trees, et cetera.
Mhm.
you should show that on the site plan. We need to see that.
Okay.
You need to get a permit to cut?
I'm wondering about an alteration of terrain permit. Do you think that is that
Is that
triggered?
going to be 100,000 square feet, though?
I don't know. Yeah, 100,000.
That's a lot, yeah.
It'd be
It's-
I don't think it, yeah, it could be that.
But I'm just raising the question, I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know,
Yeah, and that'll definitely be a concern of the Conservation Committee.
But again, you're saying that it's the triangle at the northernmost part, that is the increased area of asphalt.
That's where we propose to put it.
And the rest of it is currently hard
Gravel,
pattern,
yeah, gravel.
And that would remain, these areas would remain with that kind of color. So the actual increase in paved surface is relatively small, is what I'm seeing. Although hard pack is not super porous.
Perhaps I'm looking, or thinking of this wrong. You're looking at the triangle at the north end, there's going to be,
Yeah, that's a proposed, yeah, so that there's already pavement there, there's already a parking lot
trapezoid
there.
area is not.
Pardon? Yeah, yes, correct.
Okay. My misunderstanding. You look confused.
So many things to put on the site plan.
Okay.
Okay. Any questions from the public?
I'm not here for that, but I would just say it sounds like it might be worth having an engineered site plan. And that's what I'm a builder, and that's typically standard procedure. What I would do, engineer would know what to put and where and all of that,
How to manage the grades.
Yeah, they have all the calculations and everything that they kind of know and go by. That would be my thought, I guess.
Well, shall we continue the public hearing? Yeah, I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing until our next meeting, July 23rd,
I'll second
with
it.
no further notice.
For the discussion, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed? See you at the next meeting.
So you got some time to,
I don't know who will.
Yeah, actually,
Vacation.
sorry, I'm away, yeah.
but if you can get that done before our next meeting, if you could get those two drawings combined, or you're going away too soon?
I'm leaving next week.
So we need to set a date certain.
Yeah.
So it would be the first meeting in August?
Well, shall we continue it to that then? Instead, if you aren't going to be here, then I'll withdraw, or actually, we'll make another motion, because I can't withdraw that motion, I already voted on it. So, shall we have another motion to rescind the first motion? I'll make a motion to rescind my original motion about continuing this to the July 23rd.
Second.
He should second it.
I'll
because-
second it,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Would you like to make another motion?
I would like to
Another
make,
date certain?
yeah, I would like to make another motion to continue this public hearing to August 13th, which is our next meeting. You'll be here for that one.
And we'll second it.
Should be. Yeah, let me just double check on that one.
Go away, have fun, don't think about this.
Your working vacation.
It does sound like a working
Got plenty of details to figure out, that's all.
Where are you going?
We go to Cranberry Island every year. It's off the coast of Bar Harbor, yeah.
Vacation, what's that?
So I can't make the meeting because we have a series of interviews tomorrow afternoon, but if at some point in the next 2 weeks, would it be okay if I just stopped in and walked around, had a look?
It'd be great if you called me, because I'm the guy that knows about the project.
You're going to be
so-
gone for the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'm going to be gone for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so after that,
It'd be great, yeah, if you could, once I return.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
Bryce, if you want, you can pass along anything to me, I can pass it to the board.
Okay.
If you want, just give me to speak to the board about
Sure.
questions. Schedule that.
Okay, great, I appreciate it.
And the rest of us, the three of us, will see you tomorrow at 12:30.
Yep.
There.
And to verify, the form is still on.
Okay. Okay, so we're still good.
Please no more than 3 meetings.
We don't talk, we just look.
Well, I mean, it's not,
Which spot should we park in? No.
Brice, when do you leave?
Monday.
Okay. I will be at town hall, 8:30 to 12 tomorrow, if
Okay.
you have time. If not, just, you know, I don't know when you.
You say August
Yeah.
15th?
If you have time tomorrow.
Okay.
I will send you the minutes.
Okay.
We've got a couple of meetings in
List of
between there.
things.
We've got July
And
23rd.
if I know how to do the things,
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Yeah.
how to do the things.
Okay.
I'll work with you as best I can. Okay?
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah.
Tried to find this one.
And I'll send you an email, all that we'll discuss.
Okay, great.
Just so you have a listen. I know it's a lot.
Yeah, that's great. I took some notes, but yeah, that's going to be good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All set, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, right here, okay?
Thank you.
Mr. Lampinen. Want to bring us up to speed, Adam?
Let me just get some So, she and I actually met, didn't we, Monday?
Yeah, Monday. Yep.
And maybe just confirming his attendance. This project was approved in
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Kind of an
I
odd
vaguely remember it now.
projects getting approved. And where we left off at our last meeting was that the board does in fact have the capability to waive subdivision requirements. So I guess all that needs to be decided tonight, please jump in if this is incorrect. You just need an extension on the timeline to grant the financial security for the road, right?
Correct.
Because the planning board does need to approve that financial security.
The amount or just the granted?
The amount.
Both.
It'll be informed by our public works director. He's been working with Joe. They have a number that Joe's agreed on. And so that would be presented to the board at our next meeting, I assume, tonight too. I don't.
Yeah, we could do it now. I mean, I have been working with DPW Director Joe DeRusso, and the road cost is basically $650,000, and he was okay with that security bond, and I've been working with my insurance company on getting the procedure, getting that in place. So that was, I mean, if it's okay with the planning board to carry with that number, or if you needed more information from Joe or the selectmen or whoever, but that's where the discussion had
Do the
been.
selectmen need to sign off on that number? So we can't just go with Joe's number, we need to get
So,
selectmen approval?
because it has to do with the road, it's my understanding, at least from what I've heard from Joe, is that the select board will get, after the document's been created,
Yep.
they would get the document, they would look at it and approve the document, and then per the conditions, the planning board would also have to confirm that.
Confirm that,
That's
sign
right.
up. Yep,
Yep.
yep. And then the plan would get recorded after that.
Yes.
Once it's bonded. Yep.
Yep, so we're looking at the, did you have a timeline for the select board meeting? I guess after tonight, I know you wanted to make sure that this was heard tonight.
Yeah.
But probably ASAP for the select board, right? I don't know how long it's gonna take to create the document.
Yep. Yeah, I'll get in touch with my insurance, see where they're at with things, and then, I can do the select board meeting anytime.
So I guess for the board's consideration, just tonight would be the consideration of the extension. And then you would expect to see the document for the financial security at a later.
Is that your last hurdle, then, the financing for the road?
Yeah,
the road bond, rather.
Yeah. So my situation was Fieldstone, Chad Brannon handled the original approvals, and it's been kind of just sitting out there, and the state approvals are all still good. The wetlands crossing, that is good till 2031.
so that's got plenty of time on it left. It's just, I've had other projects in place that I haven't gotten started on this one yet. So I guess I'd be asking the planning board to extend if you could grant me a 1-year extension, that would give me plenty enough time to finalize the bond, obviously, and then finish up the projects that I'm working on currently, and then get the road, the new Arrowcrest Road going under construction and completed. So that's kind of my thought process on this.
So in your absence, last week we discussed this, just theoretically.
Okay.
And the board, my sense of the board was that people were predisposed to, the thought was that we need the housing, it's, fully permitted project. We understood, things happen at
Right.
the time, and COVID and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So how do people feel at this point?
The same way, the subdivision regulations haven't changed since the approval, but some of the zoning has. As far as the wetlands go, I'm not sure what wetlands are up in there as far as your project housing, but be aware that there's a 75-foot setback from a building to a wetland now, where there wasn't before.
Yep.
So that may affect some of your houses up there. It affected that road coming from, was it Marcy Hill? I think the wetland affected that.
I think that was one of the things with that. With the lots are pretty good sized. I think the smallest lots, like 1 acre, 1 to 2.5 acres, so they're pretty sizable lots. And the wetlands setback for septic is, I think, 125.
It's
So there's-
reduced now to 75.
Oh, that's been reduced. Okay.
But building setback
Has increased.
would be like 75
Okay.
or 50.
Yep.
Just that you're aware of it, because the subdivisions can still go through even, but you may be left with a lot that you can't put anything but a shack on. So you might want to look at that.
Yep.
Just to make sure.
Yep.
And
Okay.
and if it doesn't meet it, you would have to come back here for another application.
Yep.
If you change that subdivision.
Yeah, sure. I don't think that would affect this, just being there. There is some wetlands in there, but there's not like a ton,
Yep.
Is that a formal condition, would you say, of the approval of an extension?
I wouldn't put a condition at all, because if it turns out that one of his lots you can't build on, then he's been warned
Right.
that he might not be able to build on it. It's
Something
not
I
up to us
would
to
need
do
to
the
be aware of.
subdivision.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I would make the motion too, that we grant him the 1-year extension to get that bond drawn and approved by us.
If that's a motion, I'll second it.
Moved and seconded, further discussion.
Just for the board's, just for everyone's clarity, I guess, this is what's allowing the board to grant the extension in section 11.02 in the subdivision regulations.
And that's what we went over.
That's what we
Yep.
went over.
Okay,
And
yeah.
that's part of the motion, I think, right? Isn't it?
It can be, yeah, it's in the regulations,
I just maybe just want to state it for the record.
Yep.
Section 11.02 of the subdivision regulations does allow the board to make modifications to those subdivision regulations.
Yep.
Yeah, for a good cause.
Yep.
Moved, seconded, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Great, thank
See
you.
soon.
Yeah. So next steps for me would be finalize the bond and then get approval with the selectmen
Yep, and then come back to
and then come back to planning
It's
board.
not really public hearing or anything, so you just let me know before the meeting that you're going to make the meeting.
Yep.
I would prefer a week prior, just
Yep.
so they can include it in their packet.
Sure.
And they can read it prior.
That makes sense, yep.
But by the time the board sees it, the select board and the public works director have already approved it.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
don't think it would be too big of a decision.
Sure.
But there still might be some discussions.
Yep, definitely. Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, have a good night.
They just got over you and I alive on that one. Oh, Richard Sinsbury's down there. Is he still?
All right, next is
I just do a sign outside
the
his house.
Southwest Regional Planning Commission memo on home-based childcare zoning.
So what you guys all read, the memo, the very last part is what we're going to not going to be presenting anything, it's just, we need a VP about it, but she will be here to answer your questions.
About the childcare or the
Yes.
zoning? Okay.
About the child.
Okay.
There's a couple action items, and they need to happen this year. This is very similar to what we did with the zoning amendments.
The zoning amendments this year, altering our ordinance to align with the new state RSAs. In the memo, it says that HB 1195 passed state legislature and was awaiting the governor's signature. It has now been signed officially. So we don't have to think about that. It has been signed. So what needs to happen in terms of our zoning ordinance is that we need to permit family day, let me just get the vernacular right here. It'll allow child care centers by right on commercially zoned land, provided applicable DHHS licensing requirements are met. So it would also allow existing building within a commercial district or a portion of a building to be converted to a child care center if the exterior dimensions do not change. Site plan review may still apply if it exceeds 30 children. Preserve enforcement by state fire, building, water supply, sewage disposal requirements. How does this affect Swanzey? In the Village Business District 1 and Business District, daycare facilities are allowed only by special exception. In Village Business District 2, child care centers are not listed as a use. In commercial industrial, child care centers are not listed as a use. In the industrial park, child care facility is listed as a permitted use. Swanzey should update its ordinance to use consistent term such as child care center, allow the use by right in Village Business 1, Village Business 2, and Business District. Planning Board should review the Commercial Industrial District and Industrial District separately because the bill preserves municipal authority to restrict child care centers in zones where industrial and manufacturing uses are permitted if the child care center use is incompatible with existing industrial or manufacturing activity. So it's just going to be amendments for this, for March, is what we're going to be discussing essentially. Allowing child care centers by right and condensing those definitions into one single.
Child care center definition. Kind of like what we did with the business offices, just simplifying how it's presented and permitting it by right to follow state law. So again, we'll talk about it more next week. We don't have to talk this week about it, but if you all have any questions.
So we have the 4 bullet points on the last page of this memo, which are the action items that they'd like to see us address.
So Adam, if, let's see, it's allowing it in the, like our commercial and industrial sections of town, having to allow it if it isn't, or if the current or existing uses don't interfere with the child care or facility we're talking about, or a new name for it now. But so if there's nothing there, say somebody wants to go in our industrial area there with a child care, they set one up there because there's nothing there. I wonder if that's going to limit our use of actual industrial activity because it would be incompatible with a child care facility.
Well, we don't have to allow it in industrial or commercial. Anywhere that allows manufacturing or industrial uses, we don't have to permit it by right. So
We
that
don't.
might be something we should consider.
Oh, only in residential and rural ag
And there was business,
business.
yeah.
Well, you know, just reading, it's hard to understand. It says commercial industrial district and industrial park district separately because HB 1195 preserved municipal authority to restrict child care centers in zones where industrial and manufacturing uses are permitted if the child care center use is incompatible with existing industrial and manufacturing activity. So if there's nothing there, they could put one in, and then if we went to put something in, we wouldn't be able to do it if it was not existing. I mean,
we might have something in the industrial park that's not compatible.
I think the aim was there, if you have a company that wants to provide childcare within their own building.
There's an exception for that in here too, unless it's for that activity. But my point is that, we have commercial industrial land waiting to be developed. If a daycare center goes in there and it's found incompatible with a commercial use that wants to go in there, do we not allow the commercial use in there? Because of
I see what you mean, yeah.
it's the other way around, it's.
But we let Flatley come in and develop industrial, what was
That's not-
industrial park.
But that's not childcare though.
No, but what I'm saying is that we've made a concession already in relation to.
Oh, building in the industrial zone there with this,
Okay.
unit there, but what Mike just said is that it's not childcare and it's not a mandate. It almost sounds like the mandate says they can go in there if there's nothing existing in there and interferes with it. But that might not be really what it says. I know we can discuss that more than with Sarah when she comes up.
Yeah, Sarah's going to be here to answer questions because she's been working with other communities
Yep.
on getting this along this table.
Okay.
I have to confess, I'm a little bit chuffed that if it's under 30 children, site plan review is not allowed. And I'm thinking about parking and, circulation and all, these are things that, it's good for planning boards to be involved, but I get it, it's the law, but still,
The safety of the kids, too.
yeah, but it's done.
It's all for the children.
Sometimes this legislation is not well thought out at times.
Your concern, you're saying, is parking?
I'm concerned that if you have that many children, you have many people dropping off, picking up, meaning, and you have a fair number of staff people who need to, park their cars, and you've just got logistical issues that site plan review is designed to help address, and we're not allowed to, help with that.
I see that, but you got schools doing the same thing and they don't even have to listen to us.
It's true, but schools generally have
Oh, they do.
architects and engineers and whatnot. Those are big projects. Anyway, it's just a
But
personal
I take your
opinion.
point though, yeah, I take your point.
I'm just complaining.
But nothing wrong with that, that's what we're here for.
That's a good point.
I will say that more state mandates are probably unfortunate. I think everyone would like to keep, planners included, would like to keep more local control. So I would expect this to be the norm going forward, at least in the next couple of years. Whether we like it or not, got to adjust those changes.
Can do.
And, there is progress being made on the zoning audit front. You guys will hear more in the month, possibly early August, on what that document will look like. But progress is being made. So you guys should have at least 2 meetings before our next joint meeting to review the document and have comments. Everyone will comments, but all the board is present.
Sounds good.
Yep.
Any other business? Motion to adjourn?
Motion made to adjourn.
Second?
I'm going to second this.